That it is now live. We are live. Okay, Around the Bend with Sean and Bart, the season finale show. Do apologise for the bandwidth and the lack of clarity in the visual images. We've been having some IT issues with bandwidth yet again. So, Sean, end of the season. We're about to go into winter hibernation. How's it been for you?
I have had slip marks on my hand here, and I've actually just taken out of a straight jacket to do this.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I need some BTCC in me.
I've actually tried to extend the season a little bit longer. I've actually bought tickets to a rally just to extend the season a little bit longer into something. And I've found there's another rally close to me on Saturday, which I haven't bought tickets for yet, but I'm desperately trying to talk my wife into going to. So,
would you like standing out in the cold?
Not at all. But we've got a plan for that. Yeah, that small hot water bottle I've found is the way to do that.
Glass. And a thermos flask. Yes.
Several thermos flasks. We have a system now. Yeah. So last round, Sean texted me. I was actually out visiting relatives, and I was watching it on time delay. The last round, I just kept getting texts from Sean's like, best meeting ever. After I've watched it, I've got to admit, Sean, you were right. Best meeting ever.
You couldn't write it.
Well. You are Alan Gow, let's put it this way. You couldn't have ended it any better, could you? Big respect to Gordon Shedden, and also, can I say, Jason Plato as well. It was one hell of a fight. Plato did everything he possibly could, and he won the race fair and square, and he drove an absolute peeler in race 3. It was just Shedden's day.
It was just lucky though in race 2 that it nearly went. Well, it was nearly all over for him.
No.
Oh.
There was a lot of, there's a lot of what ifs about that last race.
Yes, there will be.
What if Andy Jordan and Plato had to get past Andy Jordan? I don't think his indicators would have come out. I'm just putting it out there. Would you say that the other drivers are more respectful of Shedden than they are with Plato, because Plato is quite an intimidating guy, to be fair. I honestly, joking aside, I honestly believe he would have done the same thing for Plato, just because they don't want to be the person. They don't want to be the person who takes the person out, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked. I've got to admit, I was kind of thinking that it would all end in tears on the first bend when they put Matt Neal and Plato side by side.
I thought so too. I actually had to record it and put it on Instagram. I was like, right, they're going to crash at the first corner. Oh, Neil went wide!
Yeah. And I was just like, I just thought that's only going to end in tears. But luckily they both made it around the bend. Yeah. So it's, it's been an interesting season. I think it's been a season of new faces in the BTCC. People who have been on the fringes for the last couple of years actually staking the claim into being, really amazing drivers for the seasons following us.
Yeah, I think Josh Cook, he's going to be one of them for the future. Aidan Moffat, we've said several times before.
Yeah, it's the arrival of the new school. Sam Tordoff, Jack Goff,
Tom Ingram.
Yeah, Tingram. Yeah. You can't ever. I can see Tingram going elsewhere next season. I really can. I think he'll end up with a works drive somewhere.
Ooh, I mean, I hope not. I mean, he's fitted it really well into that team, and
he has. But it's the development budget now. If he's knocking on the door with that car needs some money spending on.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen some other injuries and stuff we didn't want to see. It was a shame not to see Warren Scott in the last round.
No, but it was good to see Alan Menu back in the car, though.
It was, but did he really give himself a really great showing of what he can do in a car?
Actually, as a matter of fact, no, he didn't know.
Sorry to all you Alan Menu fans out there. We're just used to watching him run at the front. And to see him do anything else is a bit of a disappointment, to be fair.
Yeah, he didn't do anything, really, to be fair. Other than Shedden giving him a flat tyre on the final race.
Yes, yeah. But, you know, that BMR was going to always be wide. And also he had been shoved out by a BMR car a couple of corners before. So all's fair in love and British touring cars.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of Alan Menu, at the weekend I was around his race-winning Laguna. The
97 one.
Yeah, the green one. I went to
98.
98 one. I went to the Williams Formula One Museum. Got invited there for a day out, and it was a fantastic day. But yeah, they only evidently they've got his touring car on the plinth next to Nigel Mansell's race-winning Formula One car as an example of Williams' engineering. It was a fantastic piece of machinery.
Did you say to the guys who worked there, can you like just try and make around the bend more, what's the word I'm looking for? Now see, this is going to annoy me. There's a word that carry on. This is going to annoy me now.
Okay, well, moving on from that point. It made me realise how much touring cars have changed, and now we've had some of these NGTC regulations for a few years now, and evidently, engine manufacturers stabilising and everything else now. Do you think that they're going to actually see big improvements now? Because all the cars this year, first of all, I've got to say to every single British touring car driver, it's been an exceptionally clean season.
It has. It really has. I honestly thought, like, the final race meeting, there was going to be a lot of arguments. There's going to be a lot of tension. It wasn't a BMR camp.
I didn't expect a single touring car to survive race 3.
No.
And yeah, there wasn't really a scratch on any of them, I don't think. A
few indicators being shown, though.
Yeah, Andy Jordan may have worn one indicator out, but that was about it, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams about to change cars, and it's a kind of an end of an era. Rob Austin changing cars, Dan Welsh changing cars. It's going to be it's an end of an era. I can't say that I'm sorry to see that Proton go, to be fair.
No, that car has had a lot of problems. I think in the last couple of years, when he had Ollie Jackson as his teammate last year, the car's just not competitive. You'll be lucky if it's out on track. But I did notice on the BTCC Crazy page that he's excited for new plans ahead for 2016.
Yeah,
hopefully it'll be in a more competitive car. I don't know if it's still going to be Proton. I don't know if it is still going to be Proton or if it could be a brand new car. We just have to wait and see.
Here's one for you. What happens to Rob Austin's old Audi? Do you reckon he could actually put a bid in for that? Do you reckon Sherman could live in a different team?
No. I think Rob and Sherman, they're like that. They are like that. And I don't think Rob will let Sherman go.
No, not at all. So the new rumours going through then. There's rumours of a 4-car team at Honda. Have you heard any more about that going forward?
I've not heard about that. I have seen like the AMD tuning team. They've wanting to have 3 cars in the field for next year.
Yeah.
Eurotech is possibly having 3 cars for next year.
Yeah.
Massive upgrades into that team. So, we might see them up at the front pretty soon.
I really do believe that next season's champions in waiting is going to be Matt Jackson. Surely they're the team to catch, Motorbase.
Oh, yeah. And who will be the number 2 driver? Because it's interesting to say. Maybe Andy Jordan, maybe.
Could be Andy Jordan, but I'm going for Aaron Smith. They'd save weight straight away by taking the radio out of it, obviously. I've got to admit, we shouldn't be biased, but I do love Aaron. I just like the fact that he's just gone, no, switch off, carry on. Respect to him for that, because that took big kahunas to do that, to switch the radio off and basically tell your team no. And you know that let's face it, you know, that had a massive impact on BMR's day.
It really did, and what was it?
That's not
When
when
Jason was interviewing Louise Goodman, I thought Jason was a bit in the wrong because he was speaking a lot about himself. He, like, I think I've written it down here on here. I just need to find it because I got a lot of them. Yeah, he said, like, what was it? Certain members of the team could have played it differently and helped me out as they were going to. I don't know. I'm not in their heads. They do what they like. But it just shows to me maybe Plato's not a team player, because when he said the team could have played it differently and helped me out instead of Colin and myself out, because Colin was also fighting for the championship too.
He was, but to be fair, it wasn't that. It wasn't, you know, at the time, points went, Plato was in front on points. So if there's going to be team orders, it would be favouring Jason.
But still, Colin was still in the hunt for the championship. And I think in the first race, Turkington finished ahead of Plato.
Yeah, yeah. I can't see Aaron being in that team next year. I'll be shocked if he is. I think it's put him in a very untenable position.
Yeah.
His sponsors are not going to take kindly to how he was spoken about on that press conference.
Yeah, but could you blame him though?
I'm not saying you could blame him. I'm just saying the sponsors would want him to go to another team, I'm sure.
Yeah. But do you I mean, this might be a bit of a stupid question to ask though, but in his defense, this was like unknown territory for him, because he wasn't fighting with a team that's actually going to fighting to win the championship. He's never been in that position before. So
no, but you know, the race briefing must be clear.
Yeah,
Aaron's not in the championship. He wasn't in the championship running. You know, BMR should have been, look, guys, you need to let Turkington and Plato go. And then you guys have got no team orders. Just don't take each other off.
Did you see also in race 2, when Aaron was starting second, I think he was, and then he was slowing the pack up to try and help Jason. But then when Aaron Smith was Plato was right behind him. Did you see Aaron Smith trying to defend his position going into Surtees when Plato was right behind him?
Yeah, he will do. Yeah,
that cost Plato a good second and a half there to catch up to the other drivers ahead of him.
Yeah, I think Jason gets misunderstood. I think that he knows he's got these drives there, and he has to get sponsorship exposure for the company sponsoring. And I think he very much plays a pantomime villain. I don't think Mr. Plato, away from the media circus, I think it's a very different animal. I've observed Jason at many an autosport show, backstage when he's been speaking to you know, other drivers who are friends and whatever. And he's a very warm, genuine guy. Sometimes he doesn't do himself favours in interviews on television.
Well, gets a lot of Louise Goodman. Let's be honest about that, eh?
No, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, first of all, well done as well to Warren Scott to bringing in them, you know, Turkington and Plato, and making it like a near championship winning car, a drivers' championship. Could it be better for 2016 for BMR? We'll have to find out, eh?
I think you know, considering BMR, I think they've done, you know, they've had a hell of a season. Independence Trophy, you know, they've done a lot of good stuff. And like you say, it's put BMR on the back now. BMR are a front running British touring car team.
Yeah. Turkington won the Independence Trophy, and BMR won the teams and the Independence Teams Trophy as well. So, you know, massive well done to them.
Yeah, you know, you can't argue with the stats. You really can't. There is, I feel now that the teams now are getting into the realms of, it's almost bordering on super touring again. If you get BMR running 4 cars, it's surely the bigger manufacturers. If you've got an independent team running 4 cars, surely it's only a matter of time before WSR and all these other what we call mainstream teams, you know, Triple Eight, Andy Jordan's team, start having to run 4 cars.
Well, WSR had 3 cars.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, running the 4th one to try and get the, you know, to try, because it looks bad for a manufacturer if they look smaller than an independent team. Could we actually be seeing the start of Super Touring coming back? Volvo have just released a World Touring car.
Yeah.
After blatantly saying earlier on in the year that they were going out to motorsport altogether and concentrating on the America's Cup. So could we see that car coming back in? Could that be the
bit of a shout there? I mean, it would be great to see Volvo back in the BTCC, because I loved the S40 sound engine. Oh my god, that was amazing.
We need the estate cars back.
It sounded so raw and so sexy.
Yeah. I've got to admit, I would like to see some changes with regards to ballasting of the cars. I think it's sort of made it too artificial, some of the races and some of the tracks. And the only other thing personally, the only other thing I'd like to see is them change the Silverstone National. And there was a great, and I keep quoting it, and I must get the name of the person who put it up on the BTCC fan page.
You need to find it.
Yeah. It was basically, it's a link on there, and what they proposed was running an extra, going down to where the new Silverstone wing is, and it actually adds 6 corners. It only adds half a mile to the track, so it isn't like Alton Park on the full international where there's no real spaces to overtake. But it actually puts 6 very tight corners together and uses one of the access roads, which used to be the GP circuit. And the circuit layout's fantastic, and there'd be a load of quick bends into session with a couple of big stands there for fans to watch. It would really spice that round up.
Do you prefer the new Silverstone or the old Silverstone? Where they had that bridge corner, and then you go under the bridge, and then you turn right, and then you got that.
I'm quite, I am quite a fan of the new track. I do like the GP circuit. Yeah. Right. They're coming up from the chicane as you come off the new start-finish straight by the Silverstone wing. Is a hell of a set of corners. Really is. Really unsettles the cars. It's really great. We should use it in British touring cars.
Should use it more often instead of one race meeting.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to do as well is I still think we should have an end of season bash. I really do. I think we should have the ones that are coming up to the races or whatever, to give the smaller teams a chance. I think if you let somebody like Dan Welsh drive Gordon Shedden's championship winning car 2 minutes after he's won the championship, it'd give him a feel of what the car should feel like. Give them an incentive to get their cars like that to make the grid a lot closer. Yeah,
you said that idea in the very first episode that we've done.
Yeah, I still think
you still stand by it.
I honestly still think with the viewing figures they've got, that ITV4 are missing out on having an end of season superstar race and mixing the grid up, or making them all race something different, or do something completely different.
Have like a driver shootout, the top, whatever, and the winner gets money.
Yep, and
like a 5-lap shootout, absolute brawl.
Yeah, and just literally stick them in a car they don't use for British touring cars. So stick them all in Clio Cup cars, for example.
Yeah.
And basically, they randomise it by going, Rob Austin has drawn car 21. So whoever drives car 21 in the Renault Clio Cup hands their car over for that race. And I do believe, I know it perhaps cause damage for the Clio cars and whatever, but, I think if the teams actually had to have it and actually run it as around it and make the Clio Cup cars a lot closer to British touring car teams, because the Clio Cup, as exciting as it is, didn't excite me this season the same as it did 5 or 6 seasons back. The quality driving was great. They were all well behaved. So perhaps that's what's changed it for me. But it was that previous shape of Clio. It just looked quicker. The new Clios don't look that quick. I mean, they are when you're at the track, they fly. But, it just they don't translate to television as well for me.
I mean, to be fair, I did have a. I mean, the last race at Brands Hatch, the Renault Clio, it was certainly one to look at. Definitely the best race in the Clios. And as well, we'll have to say congratulations as well to Ash Sutton, because he won the championship in his very first season in the Clios.
There was some shenanigans in the team, though, wasn't there? The team was saying that the one's car was set up differently and not set up differently, and drivers complaining, and it's never good to see the end of a season with that. Surely that soured the relationship between the teams and the drivers as well.
Yeah, that was Ash, and you said that was in the MSA court, so we shouldn't better say anything about that.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently, Taz, whether that's true, that was what was said in Autosport magazine last week, not by us.
Yeah. Also, I mean, massive disappointment because Antwort Niels, he was fighting for the championship as well all season. His car didn't race in the final race because the engine couldn't start. So he was already eliminated for the championship, which is not the best way to eliminate yourself from a championship. No.
I honestly think that the Scottish Mini Coopers, I think, is a much more hectic championship.
Well, from what I gather, and it might be true, that the Renault Clio Cup will have more cars for 2016.
Oh, that'll spice it up a bit. That's what we want.
That will definitely spice it up. I think any championship that's on the Toka package, like the Ginetta Super Cup, that didn't have a lot of cars when they were racing out on track. If they would have more cars in the field, it will, like you said, it will liven it up.
So going on then, MSA Formula, Lando Norris. Do you think
I thought that wreck at Hockenheim would have affected him, but not to be. That
was the mark of a true superstar getting back in the car after that.
And
that's not taking away anybody. Like I said, there's no bad drivers on that grid at all. But the battle between him and Ricky Collard all season has been a really interesting one. I genuinely believe that those two guys are going to make it to F1.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I forgot now. Yeah, I mean the respect that Lando has for Ricky as well. I mean they are good friends when they're away. They are like very good friends, and the racing was clean. It was show of a lot of respect, and I think that's a good thing for the new MSA Formula Series. But I think one driver that's going to probably stand out the most for next year, if he's going to stay there, is Lando's teammate for this year, Colton Herta. I think if he's going to stay for 2016, I think he's going to be a championship contender for next year.
Especially if he's got the data from the car this year for all the circuits. And he's had 12 months to learn the circuits, Formula Ford's been what was Formula Ford, and then getting into MSA Formula. It's been a great breeding ground, great breeding ground for drivers. I mean, you saw the sheer domination Dan Camish has had in Porsche this year.
He's a beast, Dan Camish, and I mean, like what you said with the Formula
Ford. The man's
Ford,
an animal.
He's even more than an animal. He's an absolute beast. He's a monster behind the wheel, Dan Camish. Yeah, he was racing in Formula Ford a couple of years ago, and also last year, Ash Sutton, he was in Formula Ford last year, and he was lifting the Clio Cup trophy. So,
obviously, and it's a great breeding ground for it. I just would like to see. I honestly believe there's room on the Toka package for a random race to introduce British club sport back to each round. I think that would be fabulous.
I thought they did that with the Porsche. They would bring in a guest driver, didn't they?
Yeah, the guest driver's one thing, but I mean, like when we visit Knockhill, we have the Scottish Mini Cooper trophies instead of the Clios, because the Clios have a week off.
Yeah.
And I think they should do that at every race and just expand the package.
Because we spoke about this on the last one, like if there's any local track, like some of the lower classes, get them some TV coverage to try and boost their series up for that.
Yeah. I mean, I watched a couple of weeks back on TV, funnily enough, and it was David Addison commentary. You'll be glad to know of Production GTI Championship, and yeah, it was old Golf Mark II GTIs, and it was just, you know, it was really close racing, and it would be great to get those guys on as you know, any motorsport. I think the BTCC has got such a following. It really owes it to the British motorsport fans to get more people onto the tracks and get more people into the tracks.
Yeah, was that that Volkswagen series you were on about?
Yeah, there's Volkswagen series. There's also the Fun Cup, which is great fun, but the races are really long. They're like between 4 and 6 hours. But they have an hour sprint race, which again, you know, if they actually had them on the same sort of package, they could keep these races in the bag for, say, if there was bad weather or adverse weather or long safety cars or something, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the Volkswagen series because, you know,
yeah,
Team Hard,
the VAG trophy,
cars.
the VAG trophy with Team Hard and Slide Sports. That's really close. Those guys are normally on the British GT lineup. We normally see those in April as they come past us locally. Yeah, it's always good racing, really is.
Yeah.
Mighty Minis as well. The little original Mini, the Rover ones from 1990s. Those are, and of course the Mini Sevens and the Mini Meaglas, you know, really close racing. They get to the first corner and there's 8 minis in a row, and that's how it stays all the way around. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Can we go back to like the Porsche, because we were talking about Dan Camish? Yeah. Can we talk about him again?
Oh yes.
Where would you see him in 2016?
Porsche Super Cup, actually going around with the F1 circus. Yeah, he will end up doing one of two things. He will end up either being in the Le Mans 24-hour race,
yeah,
or he will end up as a Formula One safety car driver.
I was thinking of Formula One as well, because I mean, don't get me wrong, Camish has got like immense talent behind the wheel. If you'd stick him in a Formula One car, if he's in a manor, he'd be fighting nearly in the points. No, I guarantee. Do you know, there was one incredible stat that I saw on a website, and I want to read it to you, right?
Okay.
So,
do we know what the website is?
This was like the article that if Camish would be interested in racing in BTCC, but he said it's highly unlikely that he won't. But I tell you what, if he was in the Ford, right, with Matt Jackson, that's it. They're getting 1-2s every time. But anyways, since he's raced on the Toka package, right, get this, right? He's raced in 45 races, 44 podiums, 36 wins.
And still has to put his own sponsorship packages together.
His agent must be so happy getting like notifications on his email saying this team wants you, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just all about being, you know. There was a very interesting article on Autosport the other week when they were on about how much drivers actually get paid in British motorsport. And it was interesting to say that, you know, Gordon Shedham's on allegedly on £150,000 a season paid from Honda. Be interesting to see how those wage negotiations go now he's won the championship.
But you said about like paid drivers. The commentator was when he was on the MSA series. Ricky Collard's the most highest paid MSA driver. He had about $5,000. I thought it'd be Lando Norris, but it wasn't. It was Ricky Collard, and then it was someone else.
I think these people are in long-term deals. I think somebody like Lando Norris has got a path to Formula One already mapped out, and he's got budget to do it as well.
Yeah, like Seb Morris.
He's going. I mean, you know, he's going to most probably go to European F3, then GP3, then GP2, then F1.
Well,
and whoever sponsors him in GP3, I think you will see. There is 2 test drivers at the moment that are on Mercedes books, And I honestly believe there's going to be a battle for Lando Norris's signature with an F1 team in the next 18 months. A long-term deal to bring him through.
Oh, why not? He'll be like 17 at the time. Max Verstappen apparently is in Formula One. Why not? But Lando said he was going down the Formula. Lando said he was going down the Formula Renault route. So he'd be
you know, and it works. It works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Formula Renault Euro Series is a hell of a series of a race series.
Yeah. Actually, going back to you were saying about with the Porsche Carrera series and that, I noticed on someone's Facebook that they're doing like it's like an X Factor thing, but they have like 4 drivers that have announced. Oh, what's happened here?
Yeah, it's all right. It'll be switching me. I'm just turning my camera down to try and make it a bit more.
I thought I'd lost you.
Sorry. No, it's my bandwidth, mate. I'm afraid. Yeah.
Anyways,
the four drivers. One of those drivers is Sam Brabham.
Yes.
Now I've got to admit, I'm hoping it's Sam Brabham.
I do too.
And the reason for it, and I have to be transparent here, is I'm one of the original investors in Project Brabham. I bought one of the first packages from David Brabham when they announced they were going to do that. It cost me about 130 quid to get access to all the websites and everything else. So I've got a vested interest in Sam Brabham being in a race car again. I think it's a fantastic step forward because it'll help us get sponsorship for our
and funding
on entry.
Funding as well, because it's £160,000 to the winner of them 4 drivers, and we're set to race in the championship for the next 2 years. And I mean, Sam Brabham was in Formula Ford and pulled out because of financial reasons. That will be a massive boost to Sam.
And also his dad is one of the greatest driver coaches on the planet, full stop.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if anybody you're talking about, if he doesn't win that, it's going to seriously... I mean this with love and affection. It's put up or shut up time for all those 4 drivers because they'll never get this opportunity again.
No. Do you think if Sam Brabham does win and gets £160,000, will he follow like with Camish and Sutton and win the championship? Like win race in Formula Ford and then win the championship in another series in a different car?
I think he'll go Porsche Carrera Cup, and then I think he'll go for, if Sam Brabham won it, he'll go Porsche Carrera Cup. By which time they'll have either. That's what they're making him into.
Yeah.
He will be the lead driver. He will be the lead driver for Project Brabham. It's what all the fans want. There's 3,000 of us. We had a vote, and the vote of which driver they wanted to see in the car was Sam Brabham as one of the 3 for the season. So he's virtually guaranteed a seat. The team are 100% behind him in doing that.
Yeah, and also as well, good luck to the other 3 drivers that are hoping to win it as well. You know, no biased opinion, right?
And I've got to admit that's the reason why I've started doing that. You know, personally, me as a fan, I've got interests outside of British touring cars in world endurance racing, and I do love it. And it would be great to see Project Brabham going. And it isn't that I want Sam to win that for the sake of being in that series for 2 years. I want him to win it so he can get sponsorship and actually do the next thing with Project Brabham. I ideally wish luck to all the drivers who are competing, but it's definitely a brave move to be one of those 4 drivers, because if you do not win it, it's going to be very difficult to then justify your sponsorship with people.
There's actually a female racer, and she's been doing go-karting for a long time. That must be like a massive step to race in go-karts and then race in a Porsche. And a Porsche they're the fastest cars on the package, are they not?
They are, but a good driver's a good driver.
Yeah.
And she hasn't made the cut by accident. She's made the cut by being quick.
Do you think it's? I don't want to sound bad in saying this, but do you think it was a little bit too late for her to? Because she's 19, and she's been racing in go-karts for 10 years, I think it was.
Yeah, but
if she only just got noticed now instead of maybe say 3 or 4 years ago when she was like 16, do you think she would have raced in Ginetta Juniors?
Yeah, I mean, go-karting is most probably one of the most expensive sports you can do European and World Series wise.
Yeah,
I've met in the past Formula 3 drivers when British Formula 3 was going, who were moving to British Formula 3 because karting was too expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I know a couple of friends on a console that have raced in go-karts, and they said it's expensive as well. But what they're doing now is they've stopped racing altogether because it was too expensive for them. Well,
let's put it this way: there was a guy where I work who was in the European Championships for karting, the CIK full-blown European part.
Yeah.
And they pulled out after 9 rounds, right? And in those 9 rounds, they'd spent nearly £200,000.
Jeez.
Of sponsors' money. And the sponsors pulled out, and there was nowhere in the race career was ever.
That must be one of the hardest things, is trying to get sponsorship. I mean, because Max Coates, he couldn't race at Snetterton because he couldn't find any sponsors. A few drivers. Go on.
Yeah, if you do Ginetta Juniors now, to put it in perspective, you know, if you put £60,000 in these Ginetta Junior season, you get to keep the car. You know, £30,000 of that's buying them the car that's your car at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, there were a few like young drivers that pulled up the championship in the Toka package, and one of them was a bit of a surprise to me. Was Jack Barlow when he was in the MSA series. I mean, a couple of years ago, he was actually fighting for the championship in Formula 4. This was when they had Seb Morris, Charlie Robertson, who's now doing endurance racing, the former Ginetta Super Cup champion as well. And he pulled out of the championship because of lack of funding. Jack Mitchell, who won that Ginetta Junior championship last year, was in Clio's, pulled out of the championship because of lack of sponsors or financial things. And I can't put it into words, really.
It's the way of the world. Motorsport is expensive.
It is. It is.
And there's drivers on the grid that are paying close to £500,000 for their drive for the season.
Yeah. It's crazy, though.
You know, and that's not personal. That comes from sponsors, and sponsors expect a return on investment.
Yeah. This is crazy. Anyways, can we speak about Ginetta Super Cup?
Yay, go on.
Right then. So, congratulations to Tom Oliphant, champion.
Yes.
Quite an impressive season for him. Only one retirement in 30 races.
Yeah, it's a very, very consistent season. Very, very good driver.
Yeah, his worst finish of the season was 4th.
Wow.
Which goes to show, you know, how much of apart from the retirement, how much of an incredible season it was for Tom. Carl Breeze, to me, is like another Jason Plato. He's always there fighting for the championship and just misses out.
Yeah, he's a really interesting. Another series hasn't picked him up because he's a real like good personality. If you get what I'm saying, he's very, very media savvy. You would have thought that he would have either gone up into endurance racing or gone across into the British touring cars.
I was going to say in the British touring cars because he raced in them before.
Yeah.
But he's been in that Ginetta series for quite a while, and I think he's won the championship once. But every time since its entirety of this Super Cup, he's been there in a chance to win the championship.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say he's very consistent as well, but it probably needs more titles.
Yeah. And, again, you get people who are comfortable in one particular race series, and then and then just stay there because it's the status quo. The sponsorships there, people like the event. You know, I'd like to see him in a different category. I think he's ready for another challenge as well.
I'd like to see him in BTCC. I would like to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's Junior Series, the Ginetta Juniors, to me, provided the best racing of all the support races to me.
It always does.
It always does. Absolutely. Just the standard this year was just amazing, though. Because the commentator said when they had the Ginetta Junior race that there were 10 different drivers started on the pole in the 10 meetings.
Yeah. Just as how close it is.
Yeah. And then it came down to the championship between Caroline and Proctor. And, well, I don't know if we want to say anything more about that because I don't know if that's still going in the MSA courts.
I would be very careful about that at the moment. I don't think we should share opinions on that.
No.
The MSA will decide.
Yes.
I think that's the way forward from that point. I think we'll leave that there. But a cracking season nevertheless.
Yeah. And that had a bigger field of cars than what they did last year, and it just shows you the racing was still, well, it was very, it put me on the edge of my seat. Let's be fair.
yeah, and occasionally into a barrier.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think one driver to look out for next season, I think, is Charlie Fagg. I think he'll do well in 2016. So I hope he'll do well. I think
there'll be a lot of drivers coming into that this year that are going to be exciting. There seems to be, going for 2016, there seems to be a big expansion of people going from karts into the Ginetta Juniors.
I think, 2016 is going to be very exciting for Ginetta Juniors, methinks.
Yeah. There's somebody local to me who is toying with the idea of Ginetta Juniors and is trying to desperately get sponsorship. And all I will say is, if she does get an entry, the grid better watch out because she's a phenomenal go-karter. And it would be interesting to see if she does get sponsorship. Yeah, but it's so difficult to get, especially that age, because where do you place your money? There's so many young drivers with potential, and there's so many junior championships, with so many pathways in now.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's Sarah Moore's birthday today. Former Ginetta champion. Yeah, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you were saying about that woman girl racer that you were on about there, Sophia Flourish, for me, really impressed me at Thruxton. Never been to the track before and got 2 wins from there. I mean, Thruxton's a daunting circuit. Let's be fair, especially for Ginetta Junior being all flat out around the back part of the circuit. But to get 2 wins from there on a track that you've never been there before is pretty special. Very special.
Yeah, really special. Yeah, really, really special. So just before we have to call it, because I'm got to be up for work in the morning, mate, so I've got quite an early one tomorrow. Any sort of other things that you think are going to be going forward into next season that we should be keeping an eye out for?
I don't know. I mean,
well, right, okay. I'm gonna ask the impossible question. Aaron Smith still at BMR next year? Yes or no?
This might sound controversial to this, but I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no. I've got a feeling he'll go. I think that was an insult to his pride. Was Mr. Plato's outburst. I can't see him staying there. Where he'll go to, I don't know, but I don't see him at BMR next year. Championship predictions for next year. Who do you fancy as your champion? Back to back for Flash?
Back to back for Flash? No. I'm going to say Jackson.
Matt Jackson's a call. I'm going to make it a bold call and say Andy Jordan. As long as he's not on an MG.
Yeah. Okay.
If he goes back,
That's understandable.
if he goes back to Eurotech and takes his Pertec sponsorship with him, yeah. I can't. If you put Andy Jordan back in a season, back in a Civic again, he's going to be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I think my tip for next season is going to be either Andy Jordan or Josh Cook.
Oh wow, that's a shout, yeah.
Yeah, I would have said Tingram, but not unless that car comes back remarkably with some bigger sponsorship to keep putting the bits on it through the season.
And a massive upgrade in the car too, you'd feel.
Yeah. 2 seasons ago, Tom Ingram was driving within the realms of that car.
Yeah.
Now Tom Ingram has outgrown that car. He needs a quicker car. And there's no disrespect to the team. It's just purely budget. If they had the same budget as BMR, they'd be right at the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, really good.
We haven't even done a what's on your plate, so have you got one?
My what's on my Plato
yes,
is Mr. Plato.
Oh, right, okay.
Because if it is that you're going to badmouth your teammate, you do it in the team bus, not to Louise Goodman.
Yeah,
2 seconds
not make it out vocally or socially.
That was an internal team issue, and Warren Scott should have reprimanded both of them. Aaron for not listening to his radio.
Yeah.
And Plato for not letting Warren Scott be the team boss for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't Jason's call to make that decision for the team.
No.
It's Warren's team. You know, I'm not saying it wasn't right to be upset or whatever. It's just with somebody with that amount of experience, you could have handled it better.
Yeah, that thing. It should have been done behind closed doors. If they had like a meeting after, like, but don't say it out in public and maybe embarrass or humiliate Aaron Smith.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a no there from Plato. No.
Yeah, and you are Alan Gow. Bring back a feature race, Alan. That's what I would like to see for 2016.
Oh, bring back the pit stops. Bring them back.
Bring back the feature race and get rid of this. Get rid of this. Picking them out of a hat, reverse grid nonsense. I'm not a fan.
No, you're not.
It just makes it too artificial for me. I'm not saying it doesn't make it a great race or a good race. I'm just saying for me, I like it when the front teams are at the front. I like seeing the front teams get through, but it just makes it a bit. Sticking somebody who's at the back of the grid, at the front of the grid for one race, yeah, it gets the sponsors on the grid and everything else. But there's another way they can actually do that, which is actually send Louise Goodman to interview not the same 4 drivers she speaks to every meeting.
Well, I mean, Paul O'Neill did that with quite a few. He spoke to Aidan Moffat, Kieran Gallagher, and so I mean, Paul O'Neill's doing the right thing, but Louise is. I love Plato.
We've got to be on very, very shaky ground we're on now.
Whoa.
Yeah. Other things I'd like to see for 2016 is the first guest on Around the Bend to be David Addison.
Yeah.
Just so sure. I'm not gonna join in that conversation. I just want David Addison to interview Sean. Then my YouTube life is complete. That'd be awesome. I could feel the venom and just a little laugh then. That was great.
I could just see like the start of the conversation. Sean. All right.
Yeah. So you for you then, what's your date off your Plato and what's the you or Alan Gow one final one before we call it a night?
Right then, what's on my Plato is when they did the promo for the beginning, a legend. Now, Matt Neal's been racing in 25 years. He's won 3 championships. Isn't he already a legend? Jason Plato's raced in British Touring Cars since 97. 2 championships. Isn't he a legend already? Shedden, champion, well, 2-time champion now, but he's you know, multiple race winner, probably one of the best drivers in the paddock that can keep a car from incredibly massive, like, sideways. Isn't he a legend? Colin Turkington, another two-time touring car champion. Isn't he a legend already? You know?
Yeah.
And you are... Oh, go on.
I've just been handed my present from my wife, which is my blatant advertisement for Williams Martini Racing. Please, Williams, build another touring car, come back and play. That is all.
I'll edit that out there so we don't get any sponsors. Anyways.
Mate, if they want to sponsor me with Martini, you leave that in. I'll take that stuff. Yeah, go on.
And my you are Alan Gow is, I want to see more rounds. 30 races is just not enough for me.
Sean wants some racing in snow. Forget holidays, forget having the season off. Just keep it going.
Keep it going forever.
52 races, one a week. That leads me on to the final thing then. Let's finish with this one. Hibernation. How are you going to cope?
I don't know. I think I need to watch some Bear Grylls to, you know, sort about hibernation. Yeah. You have to drink urine to keep yourself well.
Well, I've got a slightly different suggestion than that, which is I'm gonna. That should last year. Yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm trying to switch to some other motorsports events while I'm waiting for the BTCC to come out of hibernation.
God, it doesn't start till April.
I know. Well, we start in March because the media days in March, and we'll actually start the Around the Bends again in March, most probably. Apart from our Christmas get together, which we'll have in December, obviously. That's the next thing that we shall do. We're going on a month and a bit's break from Around the Bend, really, pretty much. And
you'll probably see how we are like 2 months later when it's Christmas, see how we've coped.
Yeah. Well, first thing I'm going to do is watch all the races again because I've recorded them. That's a good way to keep it all going. Also, don't forget as well, there's the previous Duke video. Do it, amazing set of DVDs of every single touring car championship going. And if there's any particular seasons you've missed and you want to relive it again, you know, you can order those online and you can get them as downloads now. So that's worthwhile doing as well.
Are you getting downloaded?
Oh yeah, you can get the British touring car ones on downloads now from Duke.
Right, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, so you can, and the video ones as well. So it's the old SO touring cars when it was on Grandstand. You know, with
yes, Grandstand.
Yeah, you can get all that stuff on there. Also, other things going in for the British touring car fan in your life. Pro drivers started doing factory tours. So if you're particularly into the Ford Mondeo that the Pro Drive put together in the early 2000s, that's on display now down on the M40. I think it's £25 for a factory tour. And that's gone live this week, the factory tours have. So that's one for the BTCC fan in your life. Also, you've got a lot of documentary films coming out for racing. So the main one is the Steve McQueen film, which is going live in the next couple of weeks. And that is all about the Le Mans 24-hour film he made in 1970. And they've found another 3 hours of uncut footage, and they've edited it all together, made a separate documentary. And that's going to be, I think, if you're really into that, you're going to have to pre-order that. They reckon they've already pre-sold all the copies that they're going to be doing in the first batch. So that's going to be a really interesting one. And of course, there'll be something like Latvian snowmobile racing or something at 3 a.m. Or tractor pulling on Eurosport or something like that will keep us going with petrol till
stupid, that petrol tractor pulling. It just shows you've got the strongest tractor, that's all. What's the point of that?
Isn't that the object of tractor pull? Now you see, that could be an alternate round for the British touring car drivers. Get them to do a sport they've never done before. I like the idea.
Combine harvester racing. Oh, look at my combine harvester. Ooh.
Yeah, you can just imagine. So, Jason, what happened in race 2? Well, you know, the corn was completely wrong. Aaron was
with
the
a hat, with a straw coming out.
Yeah, just like, you know, he's standing there with a loaf of bread as a hat. He's made out of that, just like, you know, he's sponsored by Hoovers. That'd be awesome.
Cheeks is over and massive, like, chops, mutton chops down there.
Yeah.
That'd be like full on Emmerdale now.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Rob Botton look no different.
No, I wouldn't not.
Morning.
and just see like Sherman just driving about on the grass.
Yeah, Sherman's just everyone else is bought to combine harvester. Not that he's just donutting his Audi until the corn gives up.
No, I've got a brand new combine Sherman, and I'll give you the
key. Right. Well,
also, before we head, I think there's one thing we also missed out. I think we want to say a massive thank you to the admins on the BTCC fans page.
Yeah.
Annie, Baz, for making this possible.
And all the collective crew for helping us with stuff. Big thanks to Ollie at Nissus HD for helping us do the titles. Big thank you also because the car revving at the beginning of the titles is actually Aaron Smith's BMR. Now it's the end of the season. We can actually tell for that. But Aaron actually let us put a mic in the car for the pre-season testing to actually get the sound effect that we needed for the titles for the show. We're gonna try and upgrade the tech. I'm gonna try and get a bit better broadband in the house. I don't know why, but it's crystal clear on Skype calls. But when we do Google Hangouts, which is the way that we put this onto YouTube, it seems to go very, very sort of pixelated and very, very low bandwidth, so we apologise for that. Some of the things we're going to be doing for 2016 we've talked about is shorter shows, more stuff on the fan page, perhaps even our own Facebook page as well. We're just having a look at that because evidently this is a BTCC fan group thing. We've made inroads with drivers. A lot of the drivers this season are hoping to even more, and perhaps even get to some online events next year. Doing the parts from there from Morton Park was really special, and we'll most probably do that in the Donington Rest. I really want to do Knock Hill next season. That's my big goal next season, do Knock Hill, so me and Sean can actually get together in the same place. Would be good for once.
We could go to Knock Hill with our deck chairs, the camera and a tripod, and be like, "Hello, welcome from the sun here in Knock Hill," and then it's like tipping it down.
Right, that's the plan. Knock Hill next season. We'll just do the show from literally sitting in some deck chairs at Knock Hill, and we'll just put it up as it is, including the fact that I'll be camping, so there'll be beer involved, which that could be libelous at that point. But we'll be all right. We'll get it out. We'll be fine.
Get a whole in shorts and shirts and that. We could probably get interview some drivers while we're there too.
Yeah, you can do some stuff. Big thank yous as well. Just while doing the thank yous, big thank you to Josh Cook and also Max Coates for sort of taking time to speak to me this season away from around the bend of the paddock to try and get them both on. Sadly, Josh Cook, so that one's going to be in the pipeline for next season. Every time we've tried to get it, he's just been really stacked with stuff. But next season he's a very, very approachable guy. Also, massive thanks for Andy Jordan, who actually came back. My wife missed out on a signature signing, and Andy had to go and attend to his family at the time and had to sort of go and just take care of something, and actually made the time to walk around the paddock to track us down so he could hand the autograph over because he knew my wife was next in the queue. So Andy spent about 2 or 3 minutes with us and had a photograph taken with my wife and stuff. And it was really, he didn't have to do that. He ran the length of the paddock at Walton Park, and he definitely went the extra mile. He was a top guy. Big fun and games with Kieran Gallagher as well. It's such a shame he's not the paddock anymore. He's a complete jester, and I love him to bits. So hopefully, mate, we'll see you back in a touring car real soon. And it would be nice to get people who are friends of the fan page to actually come on. It'd be really nice to get Tony Gillan next year and Team Hard and some of the other teams down the grid to feature as well. Would be great. I really want to start at the back of the grid next season and work our way forward and really spend more time with the guys at the back of the grid, because I've got a feeling it's going to be closer than ever in 2016.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Right then, so we'll call it there. Thanks very much to my co-presenter Sean for providing me with banter.
Which one is Sean? Me or the monkey on the shirt?
To be fair, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty the same. I'm going to have bananas here.
yeah, I was just going to say, you're the one sitting there with bananas. I was just going to point that out, yeah. We've had some great fun. We've had some good feedback. The feedback that's come back that hasn't been so good, we're trying to address that with technical issues and everything else. Hopefully you've enjoyed Around the Bend in the season. We've really enjoyed putting it together for you. It's been a hell of a learning process. Please stick with us. Please keep giving us the feedback and join us again in 2016. Until then, it's been the 2015 British Touring Car season. I've been Bart. He's been Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah? He's very, very slow. And this has been, you see his ending's always the same. And this has been around the bend. Thanks very much for watching, and see you for the Christmas special. Let's just stop the broadcast there.